Alright, so like I said, we'll be looking at the circle geometric, and in this circle geometric, our interest majorly is to define most of these major terms. What do we see in a circle geometry that makes us look at it and say, okay, fine, these solutions can be solved? Number one, when we talk about a circle geometry, there are few things you need to know about a circle and geometry. Now, for circle, we are talking about radius, because those are what characterize a circle. We are talking about the diameter. We are talking about the diameter. We are talking about a chord. We are talking about the chord. We are talking about the circumference. The circumference. Talking about the circumference itself. We are talking about the arc. And we're also going to be talking about the segment. Now, what's a radius? A radius is the distance. This is a radius. When you talk about a circle, two things that defines a circle is the center of the circle and the radius of the circle. So when we talk about this radius, we're talking about the distance from the center of the circle to any given part on the circumference of the circle is called a radius. So a radius must definitely come from the center of the circle. So definitely we can have it this way. It's also called a what? A radius. If I push it this place up forward now, from this place now to this place now, it's also called a radius. So what is a radius again? A radius is the distance from the center of the circle to any given part on the circumference of the circle. Now let's talk about the diameter. When we talk about a diameter is the distance. We can say a diameter is a straight line that passes through the center of the circle. And what does it do to that circle? And divides it into two equal halves. So every diameter must pass through the center of the circle. So now, if I draw this line down, in as much as it is passing through the center of the circle, it is called a diameter. So again, a diameter is a straight line that passes through the center of the circle and divides that circle into two equal halves. Now, having said this, we need to understand that there is a little similarities between a diameter and a chord. A chord is a straight line that touches the circumference of the circle at any two given points. It touches the circumference of a circle at any two given points. This is a chord, it's a straight line. If I draw it this way, it's also a chord, in as much as it's touching the circumference of the circle at any 2 points. This is also a what now? This is also a what? A chord. This is also a chord here, in as much as it is not passing through the center of the circle, it is called a chord. That is to say, we can as well say that a diameter is a chord. Yes, a diameter is a chord because it's also a straight line. A diameter is a chord. Why? Because it touches to the circumference of the circle at any 2 points. But one major difference between the diameter and the chord is that the diameter will pass through the center of the circle, but the chord doesn't pass through the center of the circle. So that makes it different from the what? From the chord. And that is exactly what this is what is saying. Now, talking about the what now? The circumference of the circle. If you look at this now, carefully, the whole of this part here explains the circumference of the circle. The whole of this explains the circumference of the circle. So now, what is now then the circumference of the circle? The circumference of the circle is the length around the edge of a circle. The length around the edge of this circle is what we refer to as the circumference of a circle. So every circumference of a circle, we are talking about the length around the edge of a what? Of a circle is what we refer to as the circumference of the circle. Should we say that the circumference of the circle also has a special name, which is called the perimeter of a circle? They are also called perimeter of a circle. This is the perimeter of a circle. So the length around this now is called the perimeter, or you call it the circumference of the circle. So number one, I've talked about the radius, I've talked about the diameter, I've talked about the chord, I've talked about the circumference of the circle. What about the what? The arc of the circle. What's about the arc? Well, we can have it this way. If you look at this part now, this is an arc. Then this also what? An arc. So we can as well say that we have two major types of arc. We have what we call the minor arc. We have what we call the minor arc. And we refer to as this as what now? As the major arc. We have what we refer to as the minor arc. And we have what we call the major arc. So if you talk about the arc, we are talking about the arc is a part of the circle. The part of a circle is called the arc. The part of the circle is called the arc. So now, if you are now supposed to explain the segment now, what then is now a segment? This is a segment. The whole of this part here is called a segment. This is a segment. Well, here too is also called a what? A segment. So what is a segment now? A segment is the region. Talk about segment as the region between the chord and the arc. Between the chord and the arc. So this is the chord here. Remember what we say is a chord. A chord is a straight line. A chord is a straight line that touches the circumference of the circle at any two given points. So the segment now is the region. This region between this chord and the arc is what refers to as the segment to a circle. So with this now, having said this, then we can now move to what is now theorem. What is theorem? So when we talk about theorems, a theorem are mathematical rules or propositions that can be proved by a method of argument or reasoning. That is what we call a theorem. A theorems are mathematical proofs. They are logical reasonings that can actually be proved by an argument or by reasonings. When we talk about propositions, they are statements that you can actually prove. But now, is it necessary if we can prove the statement and then we can quote it? It necessarily means we should also prove them? No. In as much as I can prove them, there's no point. If I can quote it, there's no point proving it out. It's a theorem. So, but for circle theorem, you discuss circle theorem, meaning that they are going to be mathematical statements. They are going to be mathematical propositions, statements that will follow this particular pattern of what? Of circles. We are going to be using them to solve questions. Our understanding of our theorems will assist us to solve questions under circle geometry. Without understanding these theorems, we cannot solve any question that is in circle theorem. So we are going to start looking at this theorem one after the other. Fine, I may be writing theorem 1, theorem 2, theorem 3. My own theorem 1 can be different from your own theorem. Depends on the textbook you are using that determines which of the theorems comes first. It doesn't mean that because I'm saying a straight line that is drawn from the center of the circle to the midpoint of a chord is perpendicular to that line, to that chord. It does not mean. In as much as in another textbook, my own theorem 1 can be the theorem 5 of that textbook. But all you need to know is to know your theorem just like the way I've stated it. You need to know those theorems one after the other. So we are going to be looking at those theorems one after the other. We prove them. We are not going to be proving them because I don't need you to prove them. I will just state them out, write them for you. Then we apply them in our solutions. We are going to be applying them in our solutions as the case may be. So I would like to pause it here so that I can make other videos as regards those theorems. Thank you.